Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time coming across me, hello, my name is Miss Aisha and I'm super excited to have you join me today, okay? And if you know this channel before, you have been coming here to watch very interesting videos, educational videos, fun videos for your children. You know how I do it, right? I keep every member of the family engaged and entertained like I always do here. So today I'm here again with a very important topic, okay, for smart goals for smart kids, right? So today we'll be talking about everything your child needs to know about goal setting. And if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to show you 4 resources that you can use to open up the conversation about goals and goal setting with your child. And if you even stay with me long enough to the end, I'm going to tell you where you can get the free worksheet I made to help you implement what you will be learning in this interactive session with me, okay? Yes. Are you ready? I'm super excited. Let's start already. So why is goal setting important, right? So the thing is that goal setting is important for children just as much as it is important for adults. And by this, I mean that when you set goals for your children, or when your children set their own goals and they work towards achieving it, that gives them a can-do mindset. And this mindset is very important because it makes them believe in themselves. It makes your child have a better self-image, a better self-esteem, right? And all these are very, very important. Now, I don't know if it's just me, or do you feel that rush of energy deep from inside you whenever you set a goal and you achieve it, right? So now imagine your child feeling exactly the same way when he or she has ticked off a goal as achieved on his or her own goal list, okay? So this is why it is very important to engage your children in goal setting activities, right? And not just setting, but also walking them through achieving it as well. And these are all what I'll be talking about today. Another interesting reason is that goal setting helps your child grow to become a problem solver. Now, where does the problem solving come in, right? Well, do you know that on the path to achieving any goal, there are a lot of roadblocks, right? So when your child sets a goal and tries to achieve it, what would happen? Your child would come across roadblocks, and your child would learn to solve those problems at the different roadblocks, right? And then achieve his or her goals, right? So what this does is that it helps your child grow to become a problem solver. So introducing your children to goal setting early on, right, is a great way to set them off on the path of achieving results. So moving on, another reason why you should introduce goal setting and working towards achieving it with your child is that it helps them to become more focused. It helps them to have that mindset of being patient and never ever give up, right? And lastly, it helps your child to be able to make better decisions, because trust me, there will be a lot of decision making on the path of achieving any goal. And all these that I've listed are very, very important lifelong skills that would be useful to them, not just in this time, in their present childhood, but also when they grow up to become adults, taking different leadership roles, right? So it is very important and good for you to set your child off on the path of achieving smart goals, or goals for that matter. So you may be wondering, oh, my child is just 5 months, 5 years old. My child is just, I don't know what your child's age is. And you'll be like, oh, does my child really need to be setting goals? Like, why? Right? So perfect. I'm going to answer that question right now, okay? And the thing is that goal setting for your child may be as simple as saying, I want to go to sleep earlier, right? Or I want to put on my listening ears always, or I want to brush my teeth twice a day, or I want to learn how to write neatly, right? for a child, a young child, right, goal setting may be as simple as that. And you know, there are different there are different types of goals, right? We have short term, medium term, and long term goals, right? So you may start with shorter term goals with your young children, right? The one they can finish immediately and see the results and have that rush of emotion in them that yes, I can do it, right? And as your child grows older, you then extend to medium, longer term goals for him or her, right? And even if your goal is long or short or medium, you still break it down to actionable goals, right? Like actionable tasks. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Even if you set a big goal, you still have to break it down, right, into smaller, shorter term goals. Okay, so now let's move on to how to set goals. As much as goal setting is important, right, we must make it easy for children such that they won't become overwhelmed, right, by it. Remember, the goal of goal setting for children is to set them up with the lifelong skills needed for thinking, planning, and taking actions to achieve desired goals over time, right? And so your child's goal, the goals your child should set, should be intrinsically motivated, right? Not the one that you impose. Okay, this is the goal I want you to set. Even if your child says, but mommy, I want to do, no, this is the goal. No, don't do that, please, okay? Don't do that. Give your child the power to set his or her goals by himself. And of course, you can go through it and work on it together and help him make it into a better goal, okay? For the lack of a better word, okay? So generally, there's a very popular framework for setting goals, and it is called the SMART goal framework, right? And this simply means that your goal should be specific instead of being vague. And by vague, I'll give you an example of what a vague goal looks like. Your goal must be measurable. Your goal must be achievable or actionable. Your goal must be realistic, and your goal must be time bound, okay? So an example of a vague goal would be, maybe your child says, I want to be sleeping early every day. Or, I want to reduce my screen time. Or, I don't know. I'm sure you see a lot of vague goals when your child starts working on his or her goals, right? So now, using the SMART goal framework, this is how I would say the goals I mentioned earlier, okay? So for example, I may say, go to bed at 9 p.m. daily for the next 1 year, or for the next term, or for the next school year, or for the next month, right? For 2 months. So you see that with this framework, instead of saying go to bed early, if we left it at go to bed early, okay, if your child goes to bed like 6 p.m., that's early, right? If your child goes to bed by 7 a.m., is that early for you? If your child goes to bed by 10 a.m., is that early for you, right? So you having a specific time would make it easier even for your child to know that, okay, whatever it is I'm doing, I have to wrap up before 9 p.m. Because when it is 9 p.m., it's time for sleep, right? So as opposed to saying, I just want to sleep early, okay? So you see that saying that I want to sleep by 9 p.m. every day for the next X days, or time period is a follows the SMART framework. Why? Because it is measurable. Of course, you can know if your child is sleeping by 9 p.m. every day, right? It's just something as simple as checking the time, or if you want, you can even write it down in your notebook, right, on a chart, that this is when my child goes to sleep. And at the end of this time you have set for yourself, you go over it and you see how well your child has achieved that goal. Okay, is it measurable or actionable? Okay, the next one is A. Is it actionable and achievable? Of course it is achievable. What is a little child doing that can't make him or her sleep by 9 p.m.? And even if there's anything standing in the way of meeting that goal of sleeping by 9 p.m., this would give you a better idea of how to help your child through whatever it is that is keeping him up before 9 p.m. And you may even set new goals to help your child make sure that whatever is on his or her plate before 9 p.m. gets resolved, such that at 9 p.m. on dots, it's nap time or it's bedtime, okay? So now, is it realistic? Of course it is realistic, very, very realistic, okay? Making it unrealistic would be to say sleep by maybe 5 p.m. every night, right, till the next day. That is unrealistic, right? Even if your child sleeps that early, trust me, your child would wake up. And there are some times that your child wouldn't want to sleep by that 5 p.m. because maybe his favorite cartoon is on at that time, his favorite show is on at that time, right? So make it realistic, and I think by 9 p.m. for me is realistic. So you may decide on what the realistic time is for you. For you. Then the final one is time bound, and you can see that the goal is time bound, right? Because I said for the next X numbers of days, right? It may be for the next school year, it may be for the next 2 months, it may be for the next whatever time period you want to use, okay? But whatever time period you are using, make it at least 21 days, because that is when researchers have shown or have proven that that's the number of days needed to create a new habit, as proven by studies and researchers across the world. So I'd like to move on to how to help your child to achieve his or her set goals, okay? So now I would like to share some few tips with you on this. And the first one is that you should observe your child. Yes, observe your child. I'm sure your child is doing a lot on his or her own personally, and he or she may even be achieving a goal already without you noticing it, right? So observe, take note of what your child is doing right, and you can even ask your child to observe, okay, what are those skills that he or she has mastered, right? And ask your child, okay, this thing you're doing, how did you learn it? How did you get the idea that you wanted to do it? What were those things you did that helped you learn this thing you're doing, right? So it may be as simple as maybe you notice that your child gets ready for school early, right? And you may ask your child, I'm impressed at how you always get ready for school on time. Is there any reason why you like to get ready for school on time? And maybe your child says, okay, because I don't want to run late to school, because I want to be the first person in my class to get to school always, right? So that is a goal, and you can let your child know that, oh wow, that's a very good goal to set, right? And you ask the child, okay, so, and you see, for you to achieve that goal of being the first person in class every day, what do? You wake up early, you get dressed early, you help out with chores, so every other person would be early and all that. So you let your child know that these things your child is doing are actionable steps to achieving the goal to become the first person in class every day, okay? So the thing is, children may even be showing this goal setting thing in them, goal setting and achieving thing in them, right? But because we don't pause to observe, we may not notice what they are doing, right? Even little children, while playing, you see a child trying so hard to build, I don't know, maybe a rocket, a ship, whatever it is the child is building, or even a tower, right? Or a train with their Lego. So your child has that picture in his mind already. The goal is in his or her mind already, right? But you see him taking those actionable steps, right? So you observe and you see that basically every child is a goal setter and goal achiever one way or the other, okay? So observe and let them know that they are doing it already, so they won't feel, oh, this is too much for me, I can't handle it, I've never done it before. Let them know that they are doing it before, but now you're helping them to become more structured and more aware of what it is they are doing. So another tip I have for you is that you should start small, okay? So by starting small, okay, after drafting all the goals your child would like to achieve on the paper, look for just one, and start working towards it, okay? Because more often than not, less is always better than more, okay? Especially for young children, and especially when you're just trying to incorporate a habit in yourself or in others. Okay, don't overwhelm your child by giving them a stack of goals to achieve within a limited time frame. Okay, even if your child says, okay, my goal is to memorize, or my goal is to have root knowledge of the multiplications table, right? So what you are going to do is not saying that, okay, you have to do that in 1 month. No, that is overwhelming your child. Even for a goal like that, you have to break it down and help your child know how he or she is going to achieve that set goal in smaller chunks. Okay, so something as simple as, okay, you are going to memorize a colon on each on the multiplications table every week, or every 2 weeks, right? Depending on your child's age. So always break it down and keep it simple, okay? And that way it's easier for your child to see his or her growth, right? Another thing is that you should be supportive and also be there to guide your child when it is necessary. So we all know that it's easier to achieve any goal when we are in an environment that supports us, right? So always be there to support your child. Always be there to ask what are the challenges he or she is facing and how you could help him or her overcome that challenge. Be there to provide advice, be there to provide support, be there to provide the tools and the resources your child needs to achieve whatever goal it is he or she is setting for herself. Next tip is that you should cheer your child on. Yay! Yes, every win on the path to achieving any goal is a big win, no matter how little it is, right? So celebrate your child, encourage your child, be there, praise him, give him thumbs up, saying things like, oh, I'm so impressed at how you are working hard towards achieving your goal, or I'm so impressed at how committed you are to achieving your goals. I notice how you are taking little tiny action steps to achieve your goal, and that is very important, right? Positive comments like that would help your child, right? And you can even use parables or idioms, or like, for example, saying that I'm sure you are noticing how little drops of water would eventually fill up a bucket or even a sea. Right? So just let your child know that the little drops of water are the tiny things he or she is doing, and of course the buckets, filling up the bucket and achieving, is the goal you want to achieve, right? So you can even make it like a practical example. If you have the resources and time, open your tap to a very tiny breath. So just 1 drop of water will be coming down, and put a bowl under it. Okay, let your child see that initially there was nothing, and we want to fill up the bowl, right? And let your child observe how tiny drops would eventually fill up the bowl, and let him or her know that, okay, this is exactly what goal setting is: filling up your bowl with tiny drops of actions. Okay, so the next tip, which is the 5th tip, is that you should review your child's goal with them. Okay, so fine, your child has tried to achieve his set out goals, your child achieved some and maybe did not achieve some, or your child did not even achieve anything at all. Now that is not the end of the case. It's not a closed file that you abandon and pick up another goal. No, what you should do is to review with your child what it is you did right, what was it you did wrong, what do you think you would do better or more to achieve your goal, right? Or what do you think you have to do less? Yes, because sometimes you have to do some things less, not always more, right, to achieve your goal. So this would make them see goal setting and achieving as a real life practical experience, and it will help them be able to sit back, reflect, and improve even when they become adults and they are on their own and they are setting and reviewing their goals all on their own. So it is very, very important. And you can also set out new goals from the ones you have, from the previous ones. So for example, your child was unable to achieve one particular goal from the last goal you set, he or she sets. You can then make that goal he failed to achieve or he's yet to achieve into a new goal. So this is the end of it. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you took some notes. If you didn't take any notes, you may listen again and take a lot of notes. So like I promised, I'll be showing you some books that are very, very useful in opening up the conversation with your children about goal setting and goal smashing. So the first books I'll be showing you are those books that can help you give your child different ideas of goals that he or she can set. I don't know if you can see this rightly, but it's titled Who Will I Be? Okay, Who Will I Be? Okay, and it was written by Abby Huntsman. Okay, so and it is a signed copy. It is, yeah, see, it is an autographed copy. Okay, so this book is simply about this little girl here who was confused about what she would grow up to be. Okay, and now this is important and relevant for helping your child learn to set goals, because especially long-term goals, right? Because it helps them know the different possibilities of the different things they can be. And in the book we have different professions mentioned, like being a teacher, a businesswoman, a basketball player, an artist, right? Let me see, and even very like community helpers jobs, right? Like the policeman, the soldier, the army, a librarian, maybe a pastor, an imam, right? There are different types of roles here, right? And jobs here, or there are a lot of different types of long-term goals that your child can get idea and maybe work on. And this is very good for long-term goals, right? Because it helps your child know that, okay, I want to become maybe a teacher, or I want to become a military man. What are those things I need to start doing now to help me? And you can even use that to encourage your child to study harder. Oh, do you know, to be a military man, you have to have certain grades. You have to know, you have to be very smart, you have to be this, you have to be that. And then you try to help you be smart or whatever, let's learn this, let's learn that, right? And maybe your child is not wanting to keep fit because, oh, to be a soldier, you have to keep fit, right? Blah, 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 something like that. So another very great book for opening up the conversation about goals and goal setting is Dream You Will Be. Okay, so again, like the first one, wow, just look at how colorful it is. So like the first book, it's about different professions, different things children can grow up to become as adults, right? And what I love about this book is that it has a lot of brilliance and unconventional ideas, right? Unconventional professions, right? Like a beekeeper. And what I like about the beekeeping goal or whatever is that it's something your child can start off. It doesn't have to be so long-term goal that, okay, it's only when you are maybe 25 or maybe 20 years old that you can do. For example, being a beekeeper is something you can start off for your child. Maybe when your child gets to maybe 10, 11 years, you can actually start up a bee farm for him or her, right? If your child wants to be a scientist, like it is mentioned in this book, right, you can register your child for STEAM programs that would open up that creative thinking with your child. And you see there are different types of professions, right? It's a book you should have and you should read to your children about setting goals. So the next books I'll be showing you are books that show you the framework to setting and achieving any goal. Okay, so this one is my favorite. It's called The Almost Impossible Thing. Okay, so this book, I've presented it to my class, like while I was in my MEd program. We were asked to present a book that we loved so much, and I presented this book, and my professors and colleagues really loved it. Okay, so this book is a very interesting book. Can you see? Once upon a time there was a dream. So it starts with the fact that goals may be dreams initially, right? But what do? You see, he's planning, can you see, to do, right? And he drew out and planned the different things he would try. And then here again, he's sketching out and planning, making prototypes, right? So, and he went on to the trying and failing stage, try and fail stage. I think he failed a lot of times before eventually, with the help of, with some extra help from his friends, right? They worked together and they were able to fly, right? Because the bunny wanted to fly. So what I love about this book is that it shows that after you have a dream or a goal, the next thing you are going to do is to break it down into actionable goals. And you see that I showed you a page where the character wrote to do, and he broke down all what he's going to do to achieve his goal. Another thing I love is that the character like drew out his plan. After writing it down, he drew it out and he like made it visual for him to see what he's to do at what stage. So these are also important goal setting skills you must have, right? Okay, another thing I love is that the character actually tried several times and failed. And this is a very important skill we must teach our children, that it's okay to try and fail. The most important thing is that you are not giving up, right? And at the end of it, he was able to work with some of his friends, right? And together they worked collaboratively to fly, to create a flying machine, right? And this also shows and highlights to your child that sometimes you don't have to be the only one to achieve your goals. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to collaborate with others, right? So it's not just about, I did it, it's my goal, I be the only one to achieve it. No, you may work with others and achieve it as well, okay? So the last book is A Kite for the Moon, okay? A Kite for the Moon. And again, this one, it's if you are thinking of a present for anyone, it has this page where you can write presented to, by, and all that. So this book is about a child's dream, a child's goal. Can you guess what his goal was? Well, his goal was to send the kite to the moon. Now, I'm sure if that's your child telling you that goal, what would you do? Oh, you can't do that. It can't fly enough to the moon. No. Well, for this character, his goal was to send a kite to the moon. And what did he do first? This is where it gets interesting. First, he started making different types of kites. Can you see? He would make different types of kites and set it off in the sky. And of course, that plan failed because most of the kites would fall down back to the ground, and sometimes they would just disappear and fly to somewhere else where they would eventually fall down, right? But the child never saw his kite getting to the moon, right? So this idea is very, very important because it shows that your first plan may not always be the best and right plan for you, okay? And what I liked that the character did in this book was that when he tried to hug the moon, he tried to send kites to the moon, he had to change his plan. And this plan, his new plan, was a very interesting one. Do you know what he did? He started watching the moon through the telescope, right? He started studying hard. See, he started studying hard to become an astronaut. He learned all what he's supposed to learn, right? Can you see? And at the end of the day, peekaboo, he achieved his goal of going to the moon and sending a kite to the moon. So you see, books are very, very important resource for you to open up conversations about goal setting and goal achieving with your children, okay? And last but not the least, all these books are available in my bookshop if you want, right? Because my goal with whatever book I'm bringing up to you is to let you know the endless possibilities you can achieve with even just one book, right? So these books are available, and like I promised earlier, there is a free worksheet for you. Just click the link in the description below. You'll see the link and click on it. It will take you to a page where you have to fill in just your name and your email, and then you are on your path to getting your free worksheet. Okay, so get the worksheet, print it out, and work with it with your work on it with your child. Right, if you want, you may share with me and let me know how impactful it was for you. So thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this session, if you enjoyed this discussion, please join me next time, and please share this video, give me a big thumbs up, drop your comments, and let me know if you enjoyed it. Okay, and if you're yet to subscribe, smash that subscription button. Okay, help me get to the next 1,000 subscribers. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.